everyone, Redx here, and today I'm starting my first talk show about Power Rangers Phantom Thieves versus Delta Squadron. This is season 1 of my first ever adaptation of Lupin Ranger versus Pat Ranger, one of my favorite Super Sentai series, so let's get rolling. Episode 1, Phantom Thieves of Gotham. Yes, the Phantom Thieves are now in Gotham City, where the leader of the Phantom Rangers is Hector Osborn, aka the Red Phantom Ranger, and his friends, Talia Murdoch, aka the Blue Phantom Ranger, and Lola Jones, aka the Yellow Phantom Ranger. Their story begins in Gotham City in the year 2052, where they have to face against the mobsters and their gangler leader known as Swarm, who has stolen a piece of the Lupin collection known as the Turtlecom, which is an arsenal of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Which he also discovered that the ganglers had a cafe there, and Swarm is capturing women all across the world to send to slavery for the ganglers' plan to take over the multiverse, known as Multi-Earth. Episode 2, which is known as Delta Squad Police Force. We introduce ourselves to the Delta Squad Rangers, known as Cassie Cooper, aka the Red Delta Ranger, Max Drew, aka the Green Delta Ranger, and Helen McGinnis, aka the Pink Delta Ranger, who are facing against a jackal known as the Green Goblin, or we all know and love as Norman Osborn, who is causing trouble around Jump City, which is the home of the Teen Titans. And this is where we also introduce Kitten as the blue monster from Lupin Ranger, and Harley Quinn there. The VS changes they're holding for Lupin Ranger and Power Ranger are known as Dual Morphers, and their Zords are now, or VS Zords are Down Flyers and Delta Triggers. So yeah. Episode 3, Triple Trouble. This is where we introduce Triple Threat from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Fast Forward. And this is the first time we ever seen Dual Striker's power. Yeah, Goody Dual Striker. I switched from Good Striker to Dual Striker. This is where we introduce Dual Striker's power, creating Hector's Red Ranger clones and their Megazord, the Phantom Thief Megazord. Where Triple Threat has stolen a piece of the Lupin collection, known as the... Hold on, I'm trying to read this. Oh yeah, the Lion Thunder Zord. A mini version of it, after all. Sorry that took so long, so... It's a long story I wrote, so you have to read it yourself. Just pause it and you'll see. Episode 4 is Fight as One, which we see Dual Striker helping the Delta Rangers face against a jackal known as the Goblin King, or we know as Phil Urich, the Hobgoblin, or Goblin Knight, or this is the Goblin King for now. This is where we see Dual Striker helping the Delta Rangers to become the Delta Max Ranger and form the Delta Max Megazord. Episode 6, we develop Girls in Trouble, where we see Nano from the 2003 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series has swapped Raph and Lola's bodies, while Hector is being controlled by Nano to go after the mayor. But unfortunately that backfired, and the girls have to return their bodies and recover the Ribbon Rose. Episode 6, we develop The Enemy of My Friend, which we also see Electro as a gangler. This story shows that Cassie has a bit of a temper issue, especially when it's around Max, since he's sometimes the geek and always smart talk Cassie. But later they have to put aside their differences about which plan is better to face against Electro to save the people of Jump City. Episode 7, this is the first time the Phantom Thieves and Delta Squadron actually meet, which is known as Frenemies Forever Part 1. This is where Max and Helen saw that the Phantom Thieves exist in Gotham City and has recovered the Turtlecom from Swarm. And this is where we see our first ever Evil Ranger adaptation. You see Dark Aka Ninja, so Dark Aka Ninja is now called Dark Steel because Ninja Steel. Okay, if that's so. We see the Delta Rangers fighting against Dark Steel until the Phantom Rangers show up to recover his Power Star. Until the Cassie ended up shooting the Phantom Thieves since they are actually thieves in Gotham City. Until they discover two lost Via-Zords. Episode 8, which is Frenemies Forever Part 2. This is where Cassie and Hector face against each other in two of their new Via-Zords. For Cyclone Downflyer, I name it Cyclone Spinner. For Delta Trigger Machine Biker, this is known as the Shadow Biker. This is where we see an epic Zord fight with Hector in the Shadow Biker and Cassie and the Cyclone Spinner. Unfortunately, Cassie was able to lose the fight to Hector, and they both ended up going their separate ways since the Phantom Thieves have recovered the Cyclone Spinner from the Delta Rangers, and the Delta Rangers recovered the Shadow Biker from the Phantom Rangers. Episode 9, The Cyclone Clone. Yeah, this is where we get to see Slash, which is actually a clone of Raphael, who was trapped in the sewers for centuries. But unfortunately, the gangers were able to find him and make him do his evil bidding. And this is where we see the Phantom Thieves use the Cyclone Spinner to form a new Megazord, known as the Cyclone Thief Megazord, I think. Yep, that's it. Sorry if I'm being quiet, but I had to read something. Okay. It also shows that Slash has stolen a Foot Clan mask. You know, the mask that was worn for the Foot Clan? Yeah, that. Episode 10, which is One with the Night. This is where we get to see Kraven the Hunter, the enemy of Spider-Man, causing trouble in Jump City. And this is where we see Helen McGinnis, aka the Pink Delta Ranger, use the Shadow Biker in its awesome biker mode. Yeah, the Shadow Biker will actually turn into an actual bike. But it can also create a road attack. And combine with the Megazord to form the Delta Biker Megazord. Episode 11, which is Joke's on You, where we get to introduce ourselves to Harley Quinn, facing against the Phantom Rangers. And it shows that Harley Quinn was getting served by a master known as Nosferatu. Does anyone know who Nosferatu is? I kind of know, but I got that name Nosferatu from Batman Nosferatu. But whatever. And this is the first time we ever seen an evil Zord piloted by Harley Quinn, known as a Mega Slayer. And we also see that the Phantom Rangers have recovered a piece of the collection known as the Dragon Scroll. Is anyone familiar with the Dragon Scroll? I know some of you do. It's quoted from a movie. Episode 12, which is known as Return to the Future. This is where we get to see the Dark Turtles from the year 2105 coming in the year 2052 to face against the Delta Rangers in Jump City. It also shows that Mac's parents are actually Jessica Cruz, aka the Ultimate Black Widow, and Jessica... Wait, I'm confused. I said Jessica Drew, the Ultimate Black Widow, and Jessica Cruz, the Green Lantern Cadet. Yes, that's what I meant. Sorry. The name Jessica Drew and Jessica Cruz, it's really confusing. I'm sorry about that. So yeah, this is where we get to see the Dark Turtles in the year 2052 facing against the Delta Rangers. Episode 13, what I develop, which is the Dark Armor. where we get to see a new Zord known as the Scissor Knight and the Blade Streaker. We get to see that Raph Murdoch was the first one to have that sword and summon a new arsenal known as the Scissor Shield and the Boomerang Blade. And we get to see the Shredder return back from the dead and become a Gangler himself to help the Jackal Ganglers take over Multi-Earth. In episode 14, we developed the Mighty Fall, where we get to see that Krang Subprime in a new body has created new androids known as the G-Roids. They are also led by the Green Goblin, and this is where we get to see a new Via-Zord known as the Mini Driller, and the new bigger brother of the Mini Driller, the Crane Driller. But we also see that Cassie's anger has also led to a dangerous curse in his body during his Ranger form, and led him to appear to have spikes appearing out of her back for no reason. But until we found out that those spikes were led by the G-Roids, who later stabbed Cassie right in the back until Cassie was able to defeat them. Now we are on to episode 16, which is Scissors beats Shredder. Get it? Yeah, sorry. Anyway, this is where we get to see the Shredder facing against the Phantom Rangers, and we see the Phantom Rangers use the Scissor Knight and the Blade Jet with the Megazord to form the Phantom Knight Megazord to take down Shredder and destroy the Dark Armor. But unfortunately, ended up the Shredder's spirit roaming around the world to seek his revenge. Then we got episode 16, which is the Crane and the Drill, where we get to see Cassie has recovered from her previous battle against the G-Roids and the Green Goblin. And we get to see Cassie use the Crane Driller to summon the Crane Arm and combine with the Megazord to form the Delta CD Megazord. Get it? CD as in Crane and Drill. And this is where we get to see Mammoth from the Hive facing against the Delta Rangers in Jump City. Well, I have to say, we'll continue this more on next time. But in the meantime, Red X out.